Stay tuned. We're speaking with Dr. Catherine Clark, the Interim President of the University of Rio Grande Community College.
Hello and welcome to the Voice of Rio Grande. I'm your host, Dr. Donna Mitchell, along with my co-host, Dr. Heather Duda. Heather, it's a great day on campus.
It always is.
I say that every month, but I truly mean that. I walked across campus to come here today, and it was so beautiful. The trees, the flowers, the sun was shining. It's just a great day to be at Rio.
It is, and you know, a lot of people think college campuses go dormant or hibernate over the summer, but that is not the case here. Everything that is going on, all the campers that are here throughout the summer, all the classes that we're teaching, the faculty who are getting ready for their fall semester, it is not quiet as some people think.
It definitely isn't, and the Lego camp was a lot of fun for the children who came to participate
some of
in
that.
It was a lot of fun. Well, we've had some awesome guests over the years.
We have.
And I am so excited about our guests today.
I am too.
We have our Interim President of the University of Rio Grande and Rio Grande Community College, Dr. Catherine Clark. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Well, I guess we'd like to start out by you giving us a little bit of background about yourself.
Oh my goodness. Well, I am a former student at Rio Grande and left Rio Grande, transferred to Ohio State, and found that I transferred without any hesitation as far as classes, as far as transfer credit and so forth. So I had some work experience, and then I was asked to put my name in for the pool for the interim president, and I was happy to know that I was selected for this position. So it's great to feel like I'm coming back home and realizing that there's still a lot of people around that I know and I'm acquainted with, and that's a good thing.
I think it's quite a success story that you started at Rio Grande. And here you are back as our interim president.
Should I tell you the story about
Sure,
the Woody
please.
Hayes story?
Sure.
Some of you may remember Woody Hayes, who is a longtime football coach at Ohio State. And when I was in graduate school there, he would have dinner at a local restaurant. And of course, the graduate students were always excited to see him, and he would ask us to join him. And one time he asked me, he said, "What are you going to do when you finish your graduate degree?" And of course, I didn't have much of a clue. And so he said, "Well, why don't you be president of Rio Grande College?"
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. And I
Wow.
thought, oh, I don't know. But then here it is, at least for a little while.
He foretold the future.
He foretold, he gave me vision before I had it.
That's a great story.
I love that.
I do too.
So now that you're back and in a different capacity than being a student here, can you share with us some of the things that you see that have just made you happy as you walk around campus?
Sure. It's a pleasure to walk around campus and to see the students that are here. And one of the things that really struck me more than anything else is how the campus has grown. How, not only how beautiful it is, but also all the buildings. I mean, there are many, many more buildings than were here when I was here. And to see how well kept the campus is, and meeting the department chairs and talking about the different programs, and there's a lot of energy and vitality around our programs.
There really is, and I know the faculty and the chairs have enjoyed getting to talk with you and share with you some of the exciting things that are happening. It never ceases to amaze me when I talk to our chairs and our faculty, the wonderful things they're doing. And sometimes people don't know about all of those things that are happening in the classroom and in their research and in their service. We're very blessed, I think, to have the faculty we have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What are some of the things, I mean, can you share any of the things that you're looking forward to learning more about as we go through your first semester back to Rio?
I have a lot to learn. And I'm trying to pay attention to what other people are telling me as far as changes that they would like to see. And what I'm finding is that a lot of those changes are kind of the small things that make a big difference. Things related to communications, things related to plans about our strategic plan and moving that forward, which I think is really a very important thing. I think that the staff and the faculty on campus, they have a lot of vision about what they would like to see as far as where we go. I also think that it's important that we operate from a position of our strengths. You know, it's very easy to be here and to look at things as far as how we wish they would be, and not really looking at what the strengths are and how we can build on those strengths.
I think that's a great insight into some opportunities we have here.
And that makes me think of the farm, Bob Evans Farm. Would you talk a little bit about that?
I'd love to talk about the farm. We were very fortunate to have the Bob Evans Farms Corporation gift to the institution almost 300 acres of the farmland that sits right across from the homestead. And it is a beautiful piece of property. Some folks may be familiar with it if they come to the Farm Festival that happens every fall. And we now have a task force that's looking at how we might use the property. I see the property as continuing to be part of the community. Bob Evans Farms has been around for many, many years, and I think people in this area think they own it anyway, which is okay. I'm glad that they feel that connection to the farm and to the corporation. So we're looking into how we can continue to have that be part of the community and help the community see that this is part of what they can be involved with.
So does that mean that if any community members out there are thinking, you know, we used to use the trails, we used to be able to have access to some of the opportunities, are they still allowed to do that now?
They are allowed to do that. And in fact, we have a group of volunteers that work very hard to keep the trails cleared. And it's for hiking and biking right now, and they spend hours making sure that it's safe and that it's accessible. So that is just one part of what's available. We still have the shelter house available that people can use, can rent that, and can use that for functions. And so we're really glad that that's continuing. Also, we know that the Farm Festival will continue to be a part of that property, and that's going to continue for a few years. Many times I think when people see changes being made, they think that there are things we're going to lose. Well, we're not losing the Farm Festival, and it's going to continue for a bit, and you know, we're going to do our best to cooperate with that and help make that continue to be a success.
Great. And you mentioned that folks could rent the shelter house. Do you know, I know that you haven't been in your position very long, do you know who they would contact to do that? Or who might send them to the right person? If they contacted your office?
If they contact our office, that would be fine. Okay. Yes, yes, definitely. We can get them to the right person.
Great. Thank you.
That was really an exciting announcement.
Yes, yes it was.
Yeah. What other opportunities do you see just off the top of your head that we may or not be thinking about, or that sometimes we take things for granted?
Yeah.
And you're coming to us with a clear vision or a better idea to look at us and
I think we have an untapped resource as far as potential students. I think we continue to embrace what we call our traditional students, and that's important, the students that are just out of high school, and that's certainly an important resource to us, but I also think that we can broaden that perspective and tap into other individuals who are citizens in this area of the state, but who are also looking for educational opportunities, whether it's continuing education, professional development, 2-year degrees, a 4-year degree, and I think that's a resource that we need to take advantage of.
And And I think sometimes older folks don't think about going
That's
back
right.
to college. And I
Right.
can give you an example. My father decided to come back to college to Rio Grande when he was 82
Oh
years old.
my gosh.
And actually earned his certificate in medical coding.
Oh, wonderful.
At the age of
wonderful.
83.
Right.
So
Yeah,
we
that's
don't think
wonderful.
about a student
Yeah.
in our classroom
Yeah.
of 82,
Yeah.
but he really enjoyed the interaction with the younger folks.
And we have a resource right on campus, is the Council on Aging, which is a building that's right on campus, and so they're right here. And I think we can partner with that group and try to find, again, students through an older population. And our veterans, also looking at the possibilities as far as international students. I think that is something that is just kind of waiting for us to capture.
Could you talk a little more about our international opportunities?
Without revealing too much.
I know we've started some work with China.
Right. We have an agreement with China to bring students here. We have a strong staff person in our international office who is helping to support that. Of course, we would like to have more students, and so we want to use that as a foundation to continue that relationship. And I also think that with that success, that we can look to other opportunities for international students. Maybe some countries that might be a little closer too. So I won't tell much more than that, because at a later time we can talk more about what those opportunities might be.
And we do have some international students on our soccer teams.
Oh, yes.
And we have the Welsh Center on campus, so we do have some interchanges with Wales as well.
Right,
And
right.
we do send our students abroad. A lot of times
That's
we
right.
think about the students coming here,
Right.
but we just sent our first student to China in the spring. And I know that there are some students who are preparing to go to Wales this fall. So, you know, anytime we can get that sort of international opportunity and collaboration, I think it can only benefit us.
Right. I agree. I agree.
And speaking of collaboration, you mentioned some of the things that you were thinking about doing with the Bob Evans Fest and other outreach. I believe that you've already had the opportunity to do some of that, maybe because it's fair season. Can you talk a little bit about some of the fair experiences you've been having?
I followed the chicken livestock sale and was happy to award one of the participants a scholarship to the University of Rio Grande and Rio Grande Community College. And this young lady is coming. I mean, she's going to be one of our students this fall. And I just see that as a wonderful opportunity to get out in the community, to see what's going on. And I have to say, that whole area of 4-H and the county fair was one of the highlights when I was growing up. So again, it feels like I'm almost coming home, because there I am, right in that environment. And I'm going to have the opportunity to also go to the Vinton County Fair and award another scholarship. So
great.
I'm happy to do that. But I followed the chickens again.
What did you do in 4-H? I'm a lifelong 4-H'er myself.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, I didn't go to the state fair very often, but the most important thing to me in 4-H was camp. So I did enough of my project so I could have it complete, because that was the rule in our house. You have to complete your project before you can go to camp. So I would complete the project and then go to camp. And I started out with, of course, cooking. And my mom got kind of confused, because I was making those chocolate drop cookies until we ran out of butter, we ran out of sugar, we ran out of flour. So she'd go and buy more, and I would, make them again. And then she looked farther on in the project book and found I had to do all these other things that I hadn't been paying any attention to. So I was busy in the kitchen to complete that project before camp. But then after that, I went on to, do some things with clothing and enjoyed that. And I have to say that was instrumental in my deciding on my major as an undergraduate, which was actually clothing and textiles and going into retailing. And I think that those contacts and experiences with adults are really meaningful. And I can still recall when I had the conversation with a woman who was a state specialist in home economics, and she encouraged me. And I thought, okay, I can do that. So that's really important that we maintain that mentoring and advisory role that adults have for our youngsters.
And you just mentioned the meeting adults and talking to them. I am sure that all of the scholarship recipients at the fairs will appreciate meeting the interim president and having the chance to talk with you. And I'm sure that you will impart some words of wisdom to them.
I hope so. And in fact, the first scholarship that I gave the young woman, I had a pin on, the Rio Grande pin, and I gave it to her, and I pinned it on her collar. And I said, come to see me the first day you're in class. I want to see you in my office. So that's her first meeting is with me. So I'm hoping that when I can, that I can be encouraging to students. One of the things that I would like to do is to spend time on campus, to be visible, to be approachable, not only for students but for faculty and staff, and try to schedule time to do that rather than let my appointments all fill up and not have the time to do that. So I'm finding that I need to make time to go to lunch, which I'm not doing, and so the wonderful staff that support me will bring me a piece of candy if I've not been to lunch. So that's not necessarily a good thing, but they're very helpful and very supportive. But I think visibility is important because you can't listen to what people's concerns are if you stay in your office. You can't see what the interaction is of people if you stay in your office. And I think that's really important. I want to go to the cafeteria and eat with the students and just see what they're doing. And I'm also tempted now, you know we have band camp here. This summer we're having band camp. So I'm surprised we're not hearing a serenade from outside, but wonderful energy that they bring to campus, and I like to go to them and ask them where are they from, and tell them how much we appreciate their being here.
We actually have a group in the lobby of this building right now.
We do.
Some students outside. I enjoy watching that. I came to band camp here when I was in high school. So we've been doing band camp for a long, long time here on the campus of Rio Grande, and I still have very fond memories of those days.
Yes.
Well, anytime I see the students from the band camp around campus, they seem to be smiling, so we must be doing something right, because I would think that they're pretty tired out most days, but they still manage to find joy in what they're doing.
Right,
They were still marching at 7 o'clock last night, or practicing, so they're pretty dedicated.
They are.
They are indeed.
What advice might you give to somebody, maybe a student or a parent, who's thinking about attending college for the first time or coming to Rio Grande?
My favorite piece of advice, I think it's going to be my mantra, is the first steps to success is showing up. And I actually, during the first orientation I had with students, and I met them and welcomed them, and I told them that. I mean, you cannot take advantage of opportunities if you're not there. And I didn't say this, but I hope that even if sometimes we don't feel prepared for class or whatever, that not to let that keep you from being there. That we don't know what opportunities are going to be available if we're not there. So the first step to success is showing up.
That's great advice. Yeah. And one of the things that I know President often does is work closely with the Student Senate on campus. Do you have any visions for ways that students can be involved in leadership roles here on campus with you and learn from you?
I have some ideas. I want to meet with the student groups, with the presidents. I'd like to have them come to the president's house. I actually feel very humble that I am able to use that facility, is to use the president's home. It's a beautiful home. It has been here for a long time, and I think it was built to be a place where people can come and feel comfortable. And one of the first things that I want to do is have the leaders of the student organizations come, and that we can sit down and chat and talk about what their ideas are for what kinds of projects they might want to do or what they might want to be involved with. One of the things that I'm hoping that we can do is to have those students come together as a group, all the student organizations, and put on a career fair for all the other students. And I think that would be helpful not only for our current students, but for those student leaders and student members to take some responsibility and leadership for something of that sort. And I think it would be very well received.
I do too.
I agree. I agree. And I think the students will appreciate having the opportunity to work with you. I know as an undergrad, anytime that our college president came and worked with us or spent time at a rehearsal or something, you just felt like, oh, this person really cares about me as a student and wants to know me as an individual, possibly very similar to your Woody Hayes story.
Yes, right.
And so I really appreciate that you want to get the students involved and have them have a relationship with you and learn from you. I think it's a great idea.
Good, thank you.
I'd like to circle back a little bit to some of your professional career.
Okay.
Because I am so proud of you starting at Rio and what you achieved as you went forward. I hope I didn't embarrass you.
No, it's okay. When I attended Ohio State, of course, as a graduate student, I enjoyed being there. And like I say, the transfer process, I felt as though the background I got at Rio was excellent. All of my courses transferred. I felt as though I was academically competitive with the other students in my classes. And I enjoyed it so much that I went on and got all 3 of my graduate degrees at Ohio State. I stayed and I was on the faculty and the administrative staff there. And then I went to Nationwide Insurance, their corporate office, and I was their HR director, their corporate HR director. And one part of my role was to roll out training for all the employees. We had 6,000 employees in the Columbus office and 26,000 employees throughout the whole country. And with the help of my team, we trained 26,000 employees in 2 years. And it was all related to diversity, which is, I think, part of why I'm so interested in diversity on campus here, because we just saw that how knowing about what differences people bring to the table is so important, because we can become so kind of narrow in our own perspectives that if we have people who have different experiences, different cultures, then we're so enriched by that. So that was a really important thing for Nationwide. And I have to say, one of the reasons they did that was to increase their marketing penetration to diverse groups, and that worked. Then after I was at Nationwide, I went to the Ohio Department of Education and I was director of their organizational development. And so we did some changes looking at process management, the Baldrige Initiative, which is a quality initiative, and training again, training the employees. And then I was asked to be the executive director of the State Board of Education, which kind of prepared me, I think, for working with our boards, our boards of trustees in the university and the community college, because the state board was part of them were elected, part of them were appointed. So bringing those groups together, those individuals together, was really important, and I felt as though I was able to do that. So I think that helped prepare me for the position now. When I left then the Ohio Department of Education, I went into doing more of my own consulting work, and that was in strategic planning, it was in team building, and I also kept my private psychology practice, seeing clients, and which I must say is certainly important in building relationships. I'm not an armchair therapist. I don't, I stay away from trying to analyze people, but I think it does help to know how people interact and what motivations they might have and how to address those in a positive way.
I think that'll be a real strength.
Yes.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, we are fast approaching the first week of the semester.
Yes.
Are there things that you're looking forward to or hope to see that first week?
I want to see every single student. I have Welcome Week on my calendar. I will be involved in every activity there is for Welcome Week. I think it's so important because even though the students have been here for orientation, when they actually get on campus and start to be involved and be aware of more of the student activities. And with their parents, I think there are a lot of impressions that are formed then. And so I want that to be a positive experience for everyone. And then, of course, it's exciting to see all the faculty who, many have been here during the summer. I've met many of them, but some of them who are coming back for the autumn term, and I'm so excited about that too.
There's always a lot of energy that first week and the week leading up to it, and a lot of trepidation perhaps from students, especially folks who are new and thinking, oh, what is this going to be like?
Right.
This is a lot of high energy on campus, a great time of the year.
Right. I agree.
I had the opportunity to help with move-in last year.
Oh my,
and it was so much fun. And I would help the students carry, I'd talk to the parents, and when they realized that I was a dean and when they realized you were a president, it's like, really? The dean is helping me move in, the president's helping me move in. I think it sends a good message to our students that we really do care about them from the day they arrive on campus.
Right, absolutely.
And it was so much fun to learn about the students and even to see what they brought to campus. There was one girl, I don't know how her closet was going to hold all of those dresses and pieces of clothing I brought out.
Well, I think this is I don't know about you, Donna, but I think that excitement is already here from this interview.
Oh, thank you.
I think that your ideas and your vision and what you've already seen on campus is great, and I, for one, am really excited to work with you.
Thank you.
During your time here.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Likewise.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us for another episode of Voice of Rio Grande.